Talk and Power, your motorsport and motoring radio show. Now on 88.5 FM, The Valley Comes Alive. And podcasting across iTunes and talkandpower.com.au.
The Cobra Jet 1400 with Bob Tasca driving it. Man, that thing hovered the front end a long ways out there. Tasca, hammer down through the top end, 8-12. Whoa, look at him on the starting line celebrating that. 8-12 at 171.97. That thing may go in the sevens before it's over with. Congratulations, guys. That was a great run down there. Norwalk, you just saw a world record for full-bodied electric cars out there.
Well, welcome, Todd Brinkworth. I'm Nick DeChembry to the Talk and Power podcast. It's great to have you here, Todd.
Yeah, it's great to be here, Nick.
Just right on cue, we had a few difficulties queuing up all this audio and mixing tonight. I must apologise for all of that.
Yeah, and now we have the ambient sounds of rainfall in the background.
Rainfall in the background.
For all your Peruval? Oh, anyway, I can't pronounce the word. The people that like rain.
People that like rain, good luck to you if you like rain. We've had plenty of it here. Hey, Todd, thanks for joining us for this episode. We're back down in the Simon calls it the dungeon. I don't know why he calls it the dungeon. It's not the dungeon. It's quite pleasant being down here. It's warmer.
Yeah, it's warmer. A little bit less noise.
A little bit less. Not a lot by the sound of it. Hey, we just played a video there. That was the Cobra Jet Mustang of Bob Tasca. I don't know if it's his actually, but he was driving it. The Cobra Jet 1400 set a world record, 8:12 down the quarter mile. That is now officially the fastest. It's not the fastest down the quarter mile in terms of, but it is for a car. Dragster has gone faster than that. They're using not one, but two Cascadia motion motors. Each one of them spinning up to 10,000 RPM. 350 kilowatts each one, 700 amps, 800 volts. And that car was booking. It had the front wheels up. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah, I did. So
it was up and about, that car. And
I mean, you have to watch the video to give it justice, because unfortunately the audio just sounds like a Hoover taking off pretty quickly.
Yeah, you got to watch the video. It's a real video thing, but we thought we'd open the show with that. It's a bit of an EV kind of week it's been. We've had lots of stuff on the EV, and I thought we'd just open up with the Cobra Jet, because that's making some good inroads in drag racing, that is.
Yeah. Actually, we were talking about it with some friends the other night about the Cobra Jet, the fact that you can buy an EcoBoost Mustang, and also I believe the V8 Mustang is one of the biggest selling cars in Australia right now.
Yeah, it is. The sales have slowed down a little bit, but in the US they're still going strong, even in the US as well. It's more than double the Camaro, so that's interesting. I'm not quite sure why, but that is the case. Camaro's a pretty cool car as well.
Yeah.
We're talking Camaro there, but can you believe the people that gave us the 426 cubic inch Hemi Dodge?
Yep.
Mopar, they are going, can you believe they are going EV? Check this out.
Hold on a minute. Did we hear that right? Dodge is making an electric car?
We're talking hypothetical, right?
Surely you jest. Dodge? You mean the people who devised the legendary 426 Hemi and sunk it into a sublime missile? You mean the Dodge that created the Hellcat Red Eye and the most powerful muscle car in the world? Makers of the 840 horsepower wheel-standing Demon? Why on God's green earth would Dodge ever build an electric car? Anybody? Any thoughts out there? Hello?
You have to admit that's pretty funny.
I mean, they are taking the pee out of themselves.
They are taking but they've done it in such a way that it makes you think, doesn't it?
It does a lot. It's like they've put it in their own ad. they built the Hellcat, which is a manned missile. And I mean, we've spoken to people that have driven manned missiles, but that thing is a manned missile for the road.
Yeah.
Imagine what they can do with an electric car.
I know. Now, their catch cry is performance made us do it. Performance made us do it. So their CEO, Tim Kuniskis, said that, the assertion is not solely to play and satisfy with any regulation or EV requirement. What he goes on to say is, if an electric motor will make it quicker, we will do it.
There you go.
I'm amazed. I really am. The Dodge, Chrysler, Mopar, Hemi, all those brand names.
Yeah.
Were really the last bastion
yeah.
of internal combustion, fuel guzzling automobiles.
Last of the big V8s.
Yeah. Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Apart from Ford hanging on to the Coyote.
Yeah.
And they are. Is this the changing of the world?
I don't know. I mean, there's a lot going on. I mean, I think we spoke about it a couple of months ago. Hummer or GM have the Hummer coming out electric, which I never thought I'd see in my entire lifetime. I mean, maybe they're just adding it to their lineup. But maybe, why not?
Yeah, it certainly is their lineup, but
yeah.
That doesn't mean it's a good thing either. But I mean, look, we shouldn't be mocking electric vehicles. I don't want to be mocking electric vehicles.
No.
But I'm finding. So what you have to understand is, excuse me, when I do my research for the podcast,
yeah,
we go looking about, but I'm seeing more and more news and information and marketing around electric vehicles. It's just more and more. Each day they get stronger and stronger and stronger. And I don't want to, while we're talking EV, I love the stuff that Formula E do. Check this out. This is their promo for the race they just had on the weekend for New York. Formula E is in New York City. Check this out. I really like this. How cool is that?
That's not bad.
How cool is that? So that was shot, obviously, some time ago. It's an Formula E vehicle driving through the streets of New York. That was it. That was in downtown Manhattan.
Yeah.
The race itself doesn't take place in Manhattan. It actually takes place. It's in the course is situated in the west end of Red Hook neighbourhood in Brooklyn, actually. So it's adjacent to the Brooklyn Cruise Terminal. So it is a magnificent race. You see the backdrop of Manhattan in the background there. And congratulations to that. They've been racing there for a few years now. But that's a great promotion for pushing your brand, Formula E.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like I said, the news that dominates, EVs dominate. So, I
was about to say, if you're listening, don't tune out.
Yeah, this isn't an EV podcast, let me tell you.
I mean, we've had Simon discuss it as well. I mean, if you want to own an EV, I'm on the fence, but I'm actually starting to see the light. There's a lot of tech that will be coming through EV that will make EVs a lot better. We do need to support it, I believe. Not your Priuses and stuff; they are a bit of a joke. But sorry
to all our Prius owners out there.
Yeah, sorry, but I don't think you're listening to our show. If you are.
No, they
let us know.
Listening. Do you reckon they'd be listening?
I don't know. Let us know.
No, they'd be listening.
Maybe,
on 88.5 FM.
Yeah, well, there you go. Let us know. I have nothing against Prius owners. I'm just saying that, your car's made in 14 different countries, that's all. But, look, I reckon it's great. There needs to be a lot more support, as Simon has gone on and on about. There needs to be a lot more support for EVs, though. Currently, the infrastructure for EVs is a joke. And our governments are pushing for EV cars. Well, support EV cars. And look,
agreed.
If we can have support for EV cars, I was only talking about this again to a friend of mine the other night about this. if we can have support for EV cars, it doesn't mean you need to get rid of your gas guzzler and all that. It means you can maybe have both if you're pretty lucky. You drive your EV to work during the week and you save the environment, and then on the weekend you can go out and burn dinosaurs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sounds like a bloody good deal to me. You know what I mean? Like I could live with that.
We do need the infrastructure to get right. While we're talking EV, and I can assure you this will be the last EV talk that we have on this episode tonight. This will be the last article that we talk about EVs. Tesla, the Model 3, has hit a new low. When I write that, it's a play on words.
Yeah.
The new low is it's come down in retail price. They've got the retail down to $59,900 in Australia. $59,900 plus on road gets you a Model 3. So that's an all-time low in Australia. They basically trimmed off about $17,000 off that. Do you know how they've done that? I haven't written it in there.
How?
Well, I have actually. Now sourced from China.
There you go.
So, interesting what they're doing here. And I have to be honest with you, being an Australian, driving around in a major capital city of Australia, Perth that is, not a major, but I mean one of the bigger ones.
Yep.
See a lot of Model 3s now.
Oh, they are. Yeah. I notice them a lot more as well. A lot. Again, I commute north to south every day for work. And I notice a lot more in my morning commute.
Yeah, there's a
lot more.
A heap of them.
And I know a lot of people are actually on the waiting list to buy them as well.
Yeah,
so
I can imagine. So, very interesting. There's a lot of them on the road now in Western Australia. There's a dealership here as well. It's not probably not dealership. They sell direct, so shouldn't call it a dealership.
And parts service as well.
It's a retail outlet for Tesla.
Yeah, a friend of ours that listens to the podcast sometimes. His was there after an unfortunate incident in Albany earlier this year, and his was one of the first ones actually through the dealership and got repaired by Tesla.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
Yeah, okay. Well,
so,
very interesting.
Do you know what Teslas were made before? They were made in China?
No.
Mexico.
Yeah, okay.
Well, parts were anyway.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
So, moving
interesting. And the Plaid. Last thing, the Plaid. I mean, I think it was spoken about on the podcast before. Jay Leno has set a record in the Plaid as well.
Yeah.
That's dipped into the 9-second mark. That's incredible. That is incredible.
They are.
The Plaid that's awesome. I don't know about the one that caught on fire the other day. There's one that's caught on fire, so that's subject to investigation.
No, unfortunately, you probably will hear a bit more from us, but you'll be seeing a lot more and hearing a little bit more about them. But for me, it's the tech. It's not the fact that it's electric and rah-rah. It's actually the tech. The stuff that goes into those is pretty far out.
Yeah.
So, anyway. Enough about electric cars. Can we move on now?
We are going to move on. We're going to move on with a break, however, because it's already time for a break. So if you're listening to us on 88.5 FM, we're going to take a short break here. Maybe it's a song or maybe a commercial. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah.
If you're listening to a podcast, we're going to be back in 10 seconds, so don't panic. All right, we'll be back with a heap more. We're going to be talking all things Goodwood Festival of Speed. I love it. Yes. Right after the break. Okay, welcome back to the Talk and Power podcast. This is episode 115, by the way. 115.
115.
Yeah, can you believe it, Todd?
Well, I can, but I also, it's pretty full on.
It's full on. Very full on. Hey, I made some notes here. Before we go too far, we're on 88.5 FM for those that are listening to us through the frequency modulation in the Swan Valley and the city of Swan and Midland and everywhere in between. Right through Caversham, all those areas there. I want to just shout out to someone, Midnight Bob, no longer at the station. He's left the station. Bit of a mentor for us at the radio station, and I'd just like to thank him, Midnight Bob, for all the work. He helped us out quite significantly over the journey, and I just want to thank him and wish him all the very best for his future endeavours outside of 88.5 FM.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, I text you guys on the weekend, and I absolutely love Goodwood Festival of Speed. By the way, hello to all the listeners in the UK and all of our British listeners as well. I hope everything's going okay for you. I know, yes, I am Italian. Yes, Italy did beat the UK or England in the Euro Cup final. However, I don't really follow soccer, so I wouldn't feel right gloating, and I'm not going to gloat. I think the way that Italy won, the penalty shootout's a terrible way to end a game.
You mucked up. You called it soccer.
Oh, sorry, football.
Yes, football. Thank you.
Terrible. I don't like it.
No.
Can we not end the game in a better way?
Yeah, I followed it a tiny bit, but I also was if you looked at sports bet, they actually had sports bet for like $1.08 to win beforehand. So, hey, sorry to all our fans in the UK, but
yeah. But you should be proud because you have the Goodwood Festival of Speed. Why do you have it on the same weekend for?
I don't know if that was always the way.
Yeah, it is. I think it is.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
They have Wimbledon on as well. Like, can we jam
actually,
more?
normally Wimbledon is the week before. Normally.
Yeah, okay.
I think this year, because they sort of reopened everything was on the same weekend.
Oh, I'm surprised they didn't have a Silverstone. It's next weekend.
Yeah,
anyway.
no, Silverstone's always the week after Goodwood.
Yeah. Anyway, it was a great event, Goodwood Festival of Speed, and if you're British, you should be very proud of that event. I really want to get over there one day and do that. I just wrote down some notable mentions here: the 2019 Mercedes AMG F1 W10, and there was a Ferrari as well, the 2017 Ferrari, the SF70H as well. And the Gluckenhaus SCG 007. Some amazing cars there.
Yeah.
Tell us, you've been.
Actually, funny enough, it was 10 years ago to the day I was in the UK at Goodwood.
Yeah?
Yeah, 10 years ago, which doesn't seem that long, but also that's a long time ago. But, yeah, I've been. I could do a whole podcast myself on my trip to the UK and Germany. We might one day if we're stuck for listening stuff.
Yep.
It's brilliant. You cannot put into words what Goodwood is like. Again, shout out to Alistair McRae. I think he compared it once that it's an experience. Something that comes very similar is the event they have over in New Zealand where they run around the back of a hill and race cars, and the name escapes me right now.
Yep.
But yeah, it's amazing. It's basically someone's driveway that goes past a castle.
It's amazing. Do you think, like, there was a bit of focus on drifting this year? Do you think there was an element of letting their hair down? Because I've never seen so many burnouts.
I do think a lot of people... again, I know a few friends are in the UK and they went, and they reckon it was off the chain. People were so upset that they couldn't have it last year that they just were going loose. I mean, there's some other footage. I think I sent you a couple of clips of people throwing brand new or super rare Alpinas, which is into hay bales, and there was Baja trophy trucks going into hay bales as well, and
yeah, he stacked it wickedly, that guy.
There was dudes losing wheels off
I saw
vintage
that as
race
well,
cars, and yeah, the crowds were way down.
Yeah,
of course. I mean, there wasn't much of an international presence, but still, I think everyone just wanted to go out and have a good time. Another person I know, I saw her, actually she got invited to the ball, went out to the ball and like had a ball.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's highly, highly worth watching. I was talking to some friends last night about it again, and we were saying the fact that when I went 10 years ago, your footage was my Nokia or my iPhone 3, and maybe uploading it to YouTube was still in its infancy, I'd argue.
Yeah, it was, yeah. You're right.
And I was lucky if I could put a 5-second clip. And I actually went through my Facebook and I found a clip of a 787B that I put up that was a whole 10 seconds. That clip took me about an hour and a half to render and put up on the internet at the time. But anyway, now on YouTube, I mean, we can watch live streams.
Well, they live stream the whole event, which is, I mean, how awesome is that as well?
Quite the same as being there. Again, when we're allowed to travel and you have your 5G vaccines and all the rest of it, if you have the cash, go for a look.
Yeah.
But the live streams make it awesome. Like I mean, again, since I've been there, I hate to brag, but since I've been there, I can sit there and I can go, oh, I know that corner, and I can picture in my head where stuff is happening and where I'd be standing. But yeah, it's brilliant. And I mean, Nick's about to play a clip where there's V8 supercars that run up there, like an Australian V8 supercars.
This is a Wilkinshaw build, this one, a Holden Racing Team Commodore from a few years ago, piloted by, I think it was Rob Wood. Let's just check. I want to play this video because we're Australian.
Yeah.
Check this out. Still in the original livery.
It sounds pretty awesome.
I mean, he hasn't set any records there in terms of time, has he? But
No.
But yeah, just an awesome event, and I don't know. I think that's that believe it or not, that wasn't the best sounding car at the event.
No.
There was some magical sounding cars there that just really blew my socks off. But I wanted to play that one because it's Aussie, and it would be. The guys always say at the radio station we need to have Australian content. So there you go. That's our contribution to the Australian content.
One thing I learnt from being over there, if a lot of the UKs do like the Australians, a lot of the UK people don't. But most of them, if you're pretty calm, cool, and up for a chat, they love you. At Goodwood, people hearing the Australian accent, I had multiple conversations going. They love our supercars. They absolutely. Like, they know more about our supercar racing than we do. And, I mean, that was 10 years ago again, but I had, you're from Australia, do you follow supercars? Well, yeah. Oh, yeah, I'd love to get over one. There's me saying, but you've got a British touring car, that's pretty cool. They're like, no, nothing compared. And they call them the tin tops. They're like, nothing compared to your tin tops. I mean, you guys go out there in V8s and bash panels. And I'm like, yeah. Like, it actually made me want to. I started following it closely again when I came back because they love it.
Yeah.
So, one picture I'll paint about Goodwood is, I think I've said it before on the podcast, but one picture I'll paint is the experience is it's up someone's driveway. Everyone's there for the same reason. It's like going to your motivations or something. Everyone's there to have a look at cars. But I was blown away in the fact that there was one point I walked off by myself and went and stood by a hay bale, and one of the marshals was from New Zealand, and every year flew over and helps marshal the event. And there was a typical British gentleman, we'll call him, with his thermos of tea, and he had the tweed jacket on with the patches and the
wicked. And
he was sitting there, and on his stool, he brought his own little stool, and again, you heard the Aussie accent, and he goes, where are you from? And I went to a pretty British accent.
Oh, no, you did that pretty well.
And I'm like, I'm Western Australia. And he's like, okay. And chatting away, and he's like, what brings you over here? And I said, a friend of mine, Fran, said, this is the be-all and end-all, let's come over. So we're here. And I said, I'm in love with the place. And again, he got talking to me about British cars, Australian cars. Like, he was an encyclopedia of knowledge. And he was absolutely stoked that I spent probably an hour just chatting away to him about cars. Cars were coming past us. He knew the ins, the outs, but it made the experience. Like, there I was, a bogan from Australia, I think I was wearing black jeans and a black shirt, pretty much, chatting to a proper British gentleman over a cup of tea about race cars. Like, that to me was part of the picture to be painted. The other part was we had a pit pass, which you can basically walk into the pits, and you can't get super close to the drivers. But then again, some of the drivers are coming and going. There is vintage cars and vintage race cars that are just sitting there in the pits. And I think I managed to walk past at the time Jensen Button at one time and sort of went, hey, how you doing? And again, the Aussie accent. Oh, you're from Australia. Rah, rah, let me guess you here to see Mark Webber. And I'm like, no, here to see you and some other people. Oh, I've got to go out for a run. Pretty much jumps in the car and takes off past me to run. I think he was actually running the vintage McLaren that year. I went past Ken Block at the time, who Ken Block wasn't quite as famous as he is now, and was like, "Oh, you're Ken Block," and he's like, "Yeah, you've seen my stuff," and I'm like, "Yeah." So, yeah, you don't realise you get to rub shoulders. I think also Mario Andretti was there, I think, from memory.
He was there again this event as well.
Jumping
Mario.
in a classic IndyCar at the time, and my brain was on overload because in your brain you're like, these people are famous drivers. Again, so I could ramble all night about it, but so I'm trying to paint the picture for the people listening that it is just a spectacle.
You need to get there. We need to
get
there.
And then that is only the road. There's a
track as well.
Well, there's Sideshow Alley, as I call it, which is all. The year we were there was Porsche experiences, AMG experiences. There was Red Bull experiences. Like it's like going to the Royal Show, but with race cars and race car teams giving you merchandise, selling merchandise. And then there's the rally track.
Yeah, that's right. At the back,
I only got to the rally track for about 20 minutes because you don't realise you're on someone's property, but it is a good 1K or more walk up a hill through crowds. It's like trying to walk 45 Ks almost. That's how hard it is. But there's vintage rally cars going around between trees, doing absolutely stupid stuff like Audis, old school Subarus, old school Mitsubishis, and they are driving them like they're trying to win a rally. There's no, I'm just taking it out for a Sunday drive. They'll come with a bit of panel damage and some ball tyres.
Yeah.
So, well worth the experience. Check out the live feeds. Look, hopefully this COVID thing will settle down. I'm not saying in the next year or so, but the next couple of years. And as my mates and I jokingly say, 2025, we hope to get over there again.
Yeah, that's not.
But it's on my list. It's on my list to get over there. It's an experience.
It certainly is, and I was really impressed with, especially with the live feeds. They've had that every year actually, and you can still go back and watch the live feed. It's still there. Not that it's live, but yeah, you can watch it. It is magnificent. They've done a really good job. Hey, on that note, we need to take another break. We're going to take a short break here, and we come back talk all things Formula One right after the break. Okay, Talking Power Podcast, episode 115, rocketing right along here. You're listening to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts from, or the Talking Power website, which is talkingpower.com.au, or 88.5 FM, where the valley comes alive.
You beat me to it. I was going to say, where the valley comes alive.
Where the valley comes alive. You got to do it like Jimmy in his voice. We should get Graham on. Graham Dorr, his voice. You can't beat his voice.
Yeah, true.
For radio.
No,
you best voice for radio ever. And Ken Hill. And Carlos as well. Everyone except us, basically.
No, wait, I think we do okay.
Oh, okay. We go all right. We go all right.
Yeah.
Hey, Formula One, what do you think? Lewis Hamilton's signed for another 2 years, right in the middle of a race weekend. Really unusual time to announce it.
I must admit, I was surprised. I actually thought he was going to hang up the ballet boots at the end of this year and give it a miss.
No. He will need to be back. He will need to be back in 2022 and 2023 to make up for what's going to happen this year. I think. Don't know yet. It hasn't happened
yet. You reckon?
Yet. But I believe strongly that he needs to come back. I think it was really unusual to make this announcement right in the middle of a weekend. Now, Mercedes, Toto Wolff, has said that they sought permission from Valtteri that they could make this announcement, and he said, that's fine, you can make the announcement. Valtteri is out of contract at the end of the year. This puts immense pressure on him because he hasn't been running the second car all that well, in my opinion. The reports are George Russell's already signed.
Yes.
So it'd be really interesting to see what happens. Really does. It's really interesting to see. We'll watch this space. Lewis Hamilton signed for another 2 years. So we need Lewis. We need Lewis in this sport more than you can ever dream of. Without him, we need. It's like you need the man to. You need him in the sport. He needs to be beaten.
For those playing at home, I'm looking at Nick very sheepishly right now. Like, what do you want about? But yeah, sure.
We need Lewis Hamilton in the sport because he's dominated it. And without his dominance, what do we have?
Other people to win races? And
wouldn't it be better that we can beat him? Or someone
I see what you're saying. It would be better if
we have him in the sport than not.
And people can start knocking him off with his mantle. Yeah.
No, I'm not suggesting that, but I like Lewis. Well, I don't, but...
I was about to say, do you? Really? Okay.
No, but anyway. Hey, Honda, even though they're formally leaving Formula One, their engines are still going to be built in Japan. So Red Bull will be taking over the building those engines, but they're going to keep the plant in Japan for another year. They don't want to disrupt the... They feel that they can't move the engine building plant to Milton Keynes next year. It's too rushed, so they'll do that in 2023. So Red Bull take over the engine design and development next year.
There you go.
But that will be in Japan. So it'll be really interesting to see how they go next year, Red Bull, running an engine development facility across really polar ends of the earth in different locations.
Yeah.
So it'd be really interesting to see. Hey, we've got the new sprint format unfolding at the British Grand Prix. Cannot wait. So I was actually incorrect. A few weeks ago I said that qualifying would still determine your starting of the Sunday race. That's actually incorrect. So qualifying will dictate your starting of the sprint race on Saturday, and where you finish in the sprint race on Saturday is where you will be to start the Sunday race, which is logical, I guess, but I didn't think it was actually going that way. So I must admit, I am looking forward to this. A lot of people aren't because they're traditionalists, and I understand that. It's watered down qualifying immensely, and I understand that. Qualifying is, very traditional to start the race. It'll be on the Friday, but I think it brings new eyes to the sport on the Saturday afternoon in the UK or in the European time slot.
Yeah,
and new eyes to the sport on a Saturday night in Australia. I think it's and the Asian areas as well.
Yeah. I'd love to see reverse grids myself, but hey, that's never going to happen.
That's unlikely to happen because that's just way too out there for them.
Oh, and too much carnage. Let's be honest.
Yeah, too much carnage and just way too. Yes, that's not going to happen.
Watching Hamilton trying to squeeze through from from the back of the pack to get to first again. Oh,
it would be awesome, but I completely understand why they're not going to do that. I'm really looking forward to this. I think this is a big step for the sport.
Yeah.
And like I said, the traditionalists won't like it, but I think anything where you can drag eyes in, and when I say by eyes, that's download, whatever you want to call it, subscription to the sport, or viewership, whatever you want to call it, to the sport outside of the traditional Sunday afternoon. They're just trying to get more eyes on the sport out of that time slot. And I think that time slot, Saturday night, works really well in Australia. I think it works really well in the Asian countries as well. So China, the countries that are in line with Australia, it's a Saturday night. It's perfect. I mean, what else would you do?
Yeah, true.
I mean, yeah, okay, lots of things, but but my point is, for the vast majority of people, they're home. Put that on. I think it's a great thing for the sport. So 20-minute sprint race. I'm really looking forward to it. Actually, really looking forward to it.
Le Mans starts as well. Oh no, sorry.
We should. Imagine that. That'd be awesome. So the park of the cars all across the road and run off. And
I'm just talking crap now, but hey, it'd be pretty funny.
The guy that's starting from pole slips over, and the guy that started from fifth runs him over.
Well, I hope not. That's not good.
No, it's not. I will just quickly wrap up here the Austrian Grand Prix Both. It was a double header, 2 weekends in a row. We saw Max Verstappen completely dominate. I don't want everyone to think that this is the start of a Red Bull dominance this year. I don't think so, not yet. Let's not get excited. It is their home track. They were always going to do well there. But let's not get excited. The Mercedes are still there. They ran with them. What I am concerned about is the drop-off. The drop-off after Mercedes and Red Bull is significant. Seems like it's getting worse.
Yeah.
McLaren have taken the... Let's talk about the races in the teams in two lots here. There's the best, and the best are Red Bull and Mercedes, and then there's the rest. But McLaren have certainly gone to the top of the rest.
Yeah, they have.
And almost leaving Ferrari behind now. Well, they kind of have. But I'm concerned that gap between the best and the rest is actually getting wider. It's getting worse. It just doesn't seem to be... There's very little competition.
I mean, do we now go into the traditional Silverstone and then there's a round in Germany or none?
Yeah, correct. Yep.
And then we have our 6-week holiday, don't we? Or are they not doing it this year?
The holiday's been shortened up because of... Yeah.
Because it's the age-old... Summer of Madness type of thing where I'd like to see where the upgrades go. As I think I've said it every year on this podcast. Let's see what the summer brings, you know?
The upgrades, the Mercedes have already said they've got a few aero upgrades coming, but not a lot. They're putting all their time and effort into 2022 because 2022 is a whole raft of changes, a heap of changes. So we're unlikely to see many upgrades.
Well, someone said to me as well, Ferrari's pretty much given up till 2022.
No, they've given up this year as well.
Next year,
they're putting all their eggs into the basket for the 2022 season as well.
Want to be a good car then?
Yeah, and a good egg basket too,
and some good drivers. No, hang on, sorry, what?
Hey, so yeah, looking forward to that, and look, saddened to hear the news, but not surprised. Australian Grand Prix cancelled for this year, and so does MotoGP.
Yes, that's not surprising.
No, not surprising at all. I just wish this decision could have been brought forward. They could have made this a long time ago. There was no way it was going to happen in Australia.
Yeah.
You know, we said this on the podcast here. That was unlikely to happen this year for the event.
Yeah, exactly. As we go to air, there's some pretty crazy restrictions and things happening COVID-wise.
Especially in New South Wales.
Yeah, but I'm also... I guess it's internationals coming over that 2 weeks here and... what if and this variant, etc., etc. I won't mention the C word as much as I can and the L word because apparently people don't like hearing it. They don't like hearing the word.
What's the C and L word?
COVID and lockdown.
Oh, lockdown, yeah.
Like people freak out apparently. So anyway, sorry. It'd be nice to see something over here. I thought MotoGP might have been able to do it, make it work, but guess not.
They're only giving themselves 2 week gap between one event and the next one. They need to give themselves, if you come into Australia,
4 weeks.
3 week or a 3 week gap.
Yeah.
You've got to serve a 2 week quarantine. After the hoo-ha with the Australian Open, and I mean that with respect, like the tennis players, they made the tennis players quarantine for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
There was no way that they were going to allow these guys to not do that,
but
especially what's happening in New South Wales.
Yeah, exactly. But otherwise it means, look, it'll make next year better.
Please don't write into the podcast or the radio station saying that we don't agree one way or another. We don't necessarily. I think that is that on.
No.
Oh, excuse me.
We're editing for Nick there. Sorry, I was just.
We don't agree we don't have an opinion one way or another on whether lockdowns work or they don't. I'm not here to say that.
Don't say the word.
I don't know anything about the science behind it,
yeah.
So I don't profess to know. All I know is I'll just follow the rules. So if I'm told to stay home, I'll stay home.
Yeah, exactly.
If I'm allowed to go out, I'll go out, and I'll wear a mask where I need to wear a mask. If I'm that's how we roll.
Yeah.
So please don't write in and say we don't. We're just saying there's no Grand Prix, and we're upset.
Yeah, exactly. And no MotoGP.
And MotoGP.
I'm more upset at MotoGP, to tell you the truth. Anyway, moving on.
Hey, it's time for a break again. So we're going to take a break here. After the break, we're going to be talking NASCAR, supercars, test drive the Subaru Forester, auctions, talk trophy, Street Outlaws no prep, ANDRA. Geez, we've got a lot to get through still. So we'll take a break right here. We'll be back with more right after this. Okay, Talking Power Podcast, episode 115. We took the latest Subaru Forester for a test drive. You can read about it at our website. If you go to talkandpower.com.au, go to test drives and you'll see it there. That's it there, Todd. That was the Subaru Forester we took for a drive. And beautiful car. I must say it was a beautiful car. And I can understand...
Why people buy RAV4s.
Huh?
Sorry, what? Hello, Subaru Australia. If you're listening to us or Fuji Heavy Industries, we'd happily drive Subarus for more test drives, but buy a RAV4.
Okay.
RAV4 hybrid.
What's the chance of getting What's the chance of getting a Forester or a Subaru for a test drive again? Probably nil now.
Sorry,
Thanks.
you can edit that bit out then.
No, I'll leave it in.
Okay.
I did write here. We weren't fans. This is me. We weren't fan of the engine shut off. We found it as crude as a Massey 35 when restarting. They are crude.
No, they are. I used to
Why
drive
is
one
that?
for an old job, and after about an hour of driving it, not even, I turned that off. It was driving me insane.
I didn't know how to turn it off. I wish I could. But
There was a button down the right-hand side that you hold down for
Okay.
5 seconds and it turns it off. Anyway,
But
yeah.
I get the Subaru thing now. I get it. I think once you have a Subaru Forester, I think you become indoctrinated into the Subaru family. Would that be right?
I was almost going to say Subaru in general. I've owned a couple now, different models. I'm currently trying to get rid of one, and I'm going to miss it. Like they are. I mean, sorry, Subaru. I was taking the Mickey a bit before. They are a beautiful car. So I've driven a 2020 model Forester, not a 21. Lots of mod technology, lots of great stuff, but also, I don't know about you, the CVT was ghastly.
I don't. Can someone explain to me why the paddle shift is in this car?
So you feel special.
Yeah, there's no. That was really.
And Subaru,
Do you see what I read there? Its paddle shift is arguably just a gimmick, as we cannot see the purpose of using a paddle shift in something this docile.
and I actually test drove a 2021 Liberty earlier this year. I did 650, almost 700 Ks in 3 days in it. Anyway, that's another story. Paddle shift, but the 2 litre, like, okay, the boxer motor is great, but asthmatic, sorry, they struggle.
Yeah, well, this produces this is a 2.5 litre, 137 kilowatts, 239 newton meters. I wasn't even all that impressed with the power, but look, strokes for folks. I think this car. Look at that inside. That is
The
a
inside
beautiful,
is beautiful
car.
They are beautiful inside.
Beautiful car, and I can understand why people buy these cars. It's all-wheel drive system. I was really hanging that thing there, and mate, it just stuck to the road like you wouldn't read about.
Yeah, there is that too. The
Yeah.
Subaru all-wheel drive are, again, mine's an old 2008 model Subaru, but brilliant.
Nice car. I understand now why Subaru owners are repeat buyers of their product.
Yeah.
And that's all you can ask for when you produce a car, that the customer comes back again and again to buy that car. I get it now. 42,200 on road, that car. That's a 5-year unlimited kilometre warranty and 5-year capped price servicing as well. So, look, I mean, have a read of the car there.
Yeah.
It's on our website. There is more car reviews rolling out. I've done a few of them. There'll be more. We've got the Mitsubishi Outlander coming this week, so come back to the podcast and you can read about that as well. And we've also done the Mazda CX-8. It's on the website too.
Oh, there you go.
That was a beautiful car as well. So yeah, well, but we won't talk about that on this episode. I'll talk about the CX-8 on another subsequent episode. That one.
And we keep promising, but Brendan, who I know is probably listening and not here tonight, him and I have, we wouldn't say new cars, but we have some second-hand car reviews coming up very shortly. And,
I'm looking forward to that.
There is some stuff in the pipeline which will be amusing. Let's put it that way.
Oh, I'm looking for even more.
There's going to be a one good comparison of a local, well, not local manufacturer, but a famous local car, the good old Corolla, and we're going to compare it to its Japanese brother of the same year.
Yep.
And it is very amusing what you could buy in Japan compared to Australia of the same year. It's like an apple and a banana.
Yeah, okay.
But anyway, there you go. But yeah,
Anyway.
check out the website. And
Yeah, go to the website. There's all the car we'll be doing. We'll be endeavouring to do more car reviews. I won't make any promises, but we'll endeavour to do more car reviews. And that's what this is all about, a community radio show or podcast.
So if our friends at Toyota in Midland are listening...
Any Toyota dealership.
I'd love to come drive a RAV4.
Any Toyota. We'd love to drive the Supra as well, Todd.
Yeah, I would, but hey, look, I guess I'm playing to the people. The RAV4 I would love to drive.
Well, the Kluger hybrid as well.
Well, that
if
too.
we can get one. They're not giving test drives of those. They can't even build them fast enough.
Actually, the first,
two guys like us a test drive, please.
While we're talking about Toyota very quickly, the first 300s have landed in Australia.
Oh, I think we need to test drive one of those. That should be.
They're all going to mine sites, apparently.
That should be up on the priority list.
They've hit the Fremantle port and they're going straight on a truck up north. But anyway, that's just what I've heard.
Anyway, that is another story. Hey, NASCAR, lots of changes in the NASCAR world. Chip Ganassi selling his NASCAR team to Justin Marks, owner of Trackhouse Racing. So Chip went on to say it made him, basically Justin made him a great offer that required his attention. He's not out of racing. He's still, he's just out of NASCAR. Still have the IndyCar team and the IMSA sports car team as well, and the Formula E team as well. But interesting that Chip Ganassi has sold his team. And also, we also heard Jeff Gordon is leaving broadcast, and he was part owner of the Rick Hendrick team. He had skin in the game there, as I like to say. Rick will be handing over control of Hendrick Motorsport to Jeff Gordon next year in 2022. So he's left his role at Fox Sports just to focus on that for next year as well. I guess it would make it, even as he's having skin in the game, would have made him difficult to interview some of the other drivers or some of his own drivers, I guess, for interviews. Had me thinking, Todd. It's an aging ownership demographic in NASCAR. I've did some research here. So Roger Penske, he's 84 years of age.
Yep.
Joe Gibbs is 80. Jack Roush is 79. And Richard Childress is 75. Rick Hendrick is 71. So they're not a young group of guys.
No,
this is
not.
the top tier of NASCAR. And I just basically rattled off the top owners, I guess. And it's an aging demographic, to say the least.
Yeah. I think, I said it before, but NASCAR. Yes, they do only turn left for, I think, about 9 out of the 10 races they do every year.
Not on the weekend. They turned left and right.
Oh, yeah, there. They have, Watkins Glen and something else?
Yeah, what was that? Watkins Glen,
there you go. But again, the tech. My favourite term tonight, the tech. I've been watching some videos on YouTube, in between working from home and some other bits and pieces. The tech that go into these cars is awesome, and they're doing a big, similar to what Supercars did over here. They're doing what they call the Gen 3 next year. I think next year or a year after.
Yeah, year after. Massive changes in NASCAR.
And they're going. I mean, for people like us, it screams V8 Supercars. It's stuff that we did 5-10 years ago. But they're doing transaxles. They're changing the transmissions. They're doing
hybrid as well.
Yeah. But again, I mean, it made supercars at the time very interesting, and a lot of the tech that they're doing. So I can't wait. I reckon NASCAR will be very interesting. It is now. There is a science into turning left, a big science, and it's
We make a joke about it, but it's
a huge science into turning left.
Yeah.
This
hybrid thing, but we spoke about it at the last podcast. I'm not sold. Not NASCAR going hybrid. I'm not there. I'm not there with
Well,
it.
first things first, they're swapping. They're going to different motors, different transmissions and transaxles. And I think IRS as well, which will be interesting. Again, I wish Simon was actually here tonight to join us, because he'd probably know more of the tech than we do.
Yep.
And would have a awesome explanation of how it all works. But yeah, again, watching some YouTube, I was like, oh wow. Yeah, but also the tech behind the cars. I mean, it's awesome. I've actually driven a car with a ex NASCAR motor and a Jatco 4-speed in it once.
Oh yeah.
Brutal. It's like driving. I can't even compare it to anything. And those motors, the current motors, they love to pull 8,000 or 9,000 RPM. That's a push rod V8
Yeah.
swinging to 9,000 RPM.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah, well worth a watch one day to get the chance. Or watch the highlights every now and then. I mean, NASCAR's famous for its stacks as well, let's be honest.
Yeah.
But, and also, you think Formula One teams have spats at each other and carry on and that? NASCAR is sometimes dirty politics, dirty fighting, fisticuffs, helmet throwing. It's
yeah.
I don't condone that
Sheep
behaviour.
stations.
I do not condone it, but it is funny to watch. It's funny to watch. There's a bloke up there, you know, I won the race, and in the background there's a couple of blokes punching on, throwing helmets at each other. Like, it's...
Yeah.
Again, violence isn't cool, people, but like these are Americans throwing punches because someone was running a slightly staggered tyre and they got caught cheating or didn't get caught cheating. And yeah, anyway.
Also, interesting news from NASCAR this week is they won't be requiring drivers to receive the COVID-19 vaccine. So President Stephen Phelps has said their decision to not require COVID-19 vaccination lines up with what other leagues have done, including the NFL, NBA, NHL and MLB. That's really interesting. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. Don't write into the podcast and say... I'm just saying we're reporting the news.
Yeah.
They're not making their drivers have a vaccine.
That's
not to say that they should or they shouldn't. I will say that I'm having mine on Saturday, so looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm not going to say much about it, except that's kind of scary. Because...
That I'm having it or that they're not?
They're not.
Okay.
You get an outbreak...
Strikes for folks, Todd.
Mate,
we don't have a view one way or another.
Mind you, most of them will live in North Carolina. Have you seen photos of the NASCAR? Like a lot of the teams share a warehouse, and it's a suburb. It's actually a suburb of just warehouses, and they all park their trucks in there, and they all...
It's almost its own economy, really.
Yeah, and they all share the same workshop floors, and the idea is that it's... Hey, we're building this motor. You can see what we're doing to an extent, you know, and it's crazy.
Certainly is. Yeah.
Actually, a famous drifter / Baja racer / everything else just bought one of the old workshops, and the stuff he's finding in there, he's like, they just left it behind. They moved down the road, and it's like, okay, thanks guys. Like yeah. It is its own economy, and just the size of the buildings you cannot put into scale. It's like 4 or 5 Optus stadiums worth just of trucks parking, plus the Optus stadium worth of offices. Then it's just
its own nation, the nation of NASCAR.
I'm pretty sure they try to succeed one day, but hey, that's another story.
Hey, we've got to take another break here. We'll be back with more on supercars and what else? Auctions, Street Outlaws, No Prep in Australia, ANDRA. Lots of news from ANDRA. And right after the break. Okay, 88.5 FM. This is Nick DeChembre, and I'm here with Todd Brinkworth. It's the Talk and Power podcast, podcasting on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts from, and also on 88.5 FM, where the valley comes alive. Sorry, I cut you off again. You
no, it's fine. You can do it.
Next break, you can do it. It's all yours. All yours. Hey, big news in the supercars. Really interested to see where this goes. There are some contenders vying for the ownership of supercars. So Archer Capital, as we've reported, is actively looking to offload 65% share of supercars. They want out. And among the contenders is Bathurst winner Paul Morris, along with Peter Adderton. He is Boost Mobile for those that are playing along at home. Pete Smith, who's the father of Jack Smith, that's racing. MotoGP legend Mick Doohan, and British Touring Car Champion CEO Alan Gow. So they have collectively come together. They're vying for it. There have been some rival bids as well, come from Mark Scaife, who's in partnership with TLA Worldwide. For those of you, again, playing at home, I know you like to say that, Todd, TLA in Australia is headed by Craig Kelly. Now, for those that are listening, might say, Craig Kelly, that name's familiar. Used to be star defender for the Goodwood Football Club. And I had a disliking for the man myself, but hello to all of our Collingwood fans that are listening. He was a good footballer, a good footy player.
I was going to make jokes, but I won't. I'll be nice. I'll behave.
He actually ran a Holden racing team for a short period of time and was also manager for Mark Scaife. So Craig Kelly, he heads up the Australian division of TLA. So TLA is like a sports agency, Todd. So they have like players, footy players, drivers. So him and Mark Scaife are teeing up. They're looking at buying a share as well. And not to be outdone, of course, ARG are also looking at as an option as well. So ARG headed up by, on paper, CEOs Matt Braid, but we know that Channel 7 CEO James Warburton has a fair bit of skin in the game there as well. I've said that a few times tonight, haven't I? Skin in the game.
Why are Arch Capital offloading though?
They've been looking to offload for some time now.
Why?
Because they haven't been able to make as much money as they anticipated from it.
Thank you. Go watch TCR.
This was even before COVID as well. This is not a COVID-related...
I know, that's why I brought it up.
This is not a COVID-related issue. But under the leadership of the right people, this sport will go forward.
I'm telling my inner Simon that can't be here tonight.
Do it. Tell me.
Supercars. I'm sorry, even I get lost on some of the races. Some of the racing lately has been pretty good.
Yeah.
But it's not... I don't know. It doesn't sucker me into the couch.
No, probably not.
Not anymore. It used to. Not anymore. Sorry. Same with F1. F1 highlights package. MotoGP though, I will stay up late, miss sleep, drink coffee.
You'd have to start. MotoGP's on at 8 o'clock.
Well,
geez, you've got to stay up late. If that you call that late.
Well, if I have to, I'm saying if it's a different hour race. Otherwise, 8 o'clock at night.
In Western Australia,
crank on MotoGP. Watch every lap. Watch the trophies. Watch the press presentation. Do not move until they cut to the next segment.
Hear what you're saying, take on board what you're saying, agree to a certain extent. Townsville didn't really blow my hair back, perhaps because of the outcome. SVG dominated, or Triple Eight dominated, and it's great. We're seeing a gap here too. This is of concern because we had a pretty good championship the last 3 years. We had Penske, DJR Penske going backwards and forwards with Triple Eight. DJR Penske didn't dominate the sport like Triple Eight are dominating it now.
Yeah.
And this is of concern because the gap, the best of the rest is ridiculous. Now at Townsville was significant. I'm not going to go into the results there. But as I said,
I was about to say why not?
Because it was I did watch it and enjoyed it. I enjoy it, but we're starting to see domination again.
So here's a question, and again, I'm probably going to upset a few listeners over this one. So, SVG.
Mm-hmm.
He's a good driver.
Yeah, he is.
He is a pretty good driver. But is he only winning because there's no one really else to give him a run?
So that is a very good question.
I'm not, and before you write in and call me names, I'm not in the driver's seat. I never will be. Good on him.
Yeah,
and again, I've met him. I'm a good guy.
He's a top bloke. He's a legend. He's a really...
Sorry,
really, I've met him.
Chance you're listening. Shane, ring in. Tell me, would you,
Did you... I know Larko and Scafey can sometimes be annoying or frustrating and talk a lot of jibe or whatever. However, they made an interesting point on the weekend and watching this race. And they had a lot of slow motion video of their cars and other cars going over corners and curbs. And the evidence was outstanding. And they were comparing them to the Walkinshaw cars, which I hold in high regard. But when you see them take a corner or a curb, it is an absolute no-brainer as to why these cars are dominating.
Oh, yeah.
They take the corners and the curbs completely differently. The shock that goes through the car on some of the other I shouldn't say their names, but Walkinshaw, the Walkinshaw car was it is a no-brainer. You can see the car when they unload the wheel on a curb, or they load it and then it gets unloaded when it's coming back down, the spring rate is completely different in the Triple Eight cars.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know how they do it, but they can get the wheel back to the ground a hell of a lot quicker than the other cars. And, that all goes down. There's a science behind all of that. But, yeah, they did an absolutely magnificent job. And I can see why these two, even Whincup did really well for an old guy.
Yeah, and I was about to say Deep Squally.
Yeah, he did okay. But
I'm waiting for him to do something great.
Yeah, so is the whole of Australia.
And I'm like, dude, come on. But, again, he doesn't have the brand name on the car now. He's in the right team, but in the wrong time. Sorry. And sorry to DJR. Dick Johnson, awesome. All the time in the world. But it's kind of showing that Penske,
It's pretty obvious.
Sorry.
Hey, we want to. Well, we got a bit to move on with, and I had in my head, not in the notes, but in my head, I wanted to talk about Mark Winterbottom. I'll leave it for another time. We're running out of time here. I want to show you this. This is from Townsville on Saturday night. This is none other than Rochelle Splatt, top fueler at Townsville. This is on the main straight. Check this out. How awesome's that?
That is pretty awesome.
That's all. She's gone up in tyre smoke. It's a no-brainer, I get, because it's top fueler, But there was a bit of nitro in that. There was a bit, not a lot, but there was a bit of nitro in it. You could see it did go to the high side when she, I won't say go into stage. When she kind of did stage the car, you could hear it going to the high side, and there was a bit of nitro in it. I don't know how much, but certainly not 90%. But there was a bit in there. It's just gone up in tyre smoke straight away, but that's still awesome. And ANDRA had a display up there in Townsville, so congratulations to the team at ANDRA. I think they did a magnificent job.
Because that cross-promotes other sports.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Yeah, and it's a big tick for ANDRA. And we're going to talk about ANDRA after the break. We're running out of time. I didn't think we're not going to get through all our topics tonight, so we're going to take a short break here. And when we come back, we're going to just talk ANDRA to start off with, and then we'll talk Street Outlaws No Prep, and then we'll head on over to the Talk Trophy. I know the event didn't go ahead, but we'll just have a brief discussion about that. All right, we'll be back right after this. Okay, Talking Power Podcast, episode 115, and I'm here with Todd Brinkworth. I'm Dick Chairman. Unfortunately, Simon Gonzo Travellini wasn't able to make it to this podcast, so just got the two of us. Also transmitted on 88.5 FM, where the Valley comes alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was supposed to let you do that.
No, it's too late now. It's done.
Just say it.
No, it's fine.
I'll cut it in.
No, it's fine.
Just say it.
No, we're done now.
Just
move
say
along. We're going to leave this in the show too. Us arguing. It's great.
I will leave it in.
Yeah, it's great.
Auctions, we'll leave that for another time. We'll leave that. I'll carry that over. There's a bit happening in the auction world. Hey, ANDRA. I want to talk ANDRA. ANDRA today announced the Australian Drag Racing Championship. They didn't announce it today. It was a few days ago. But the ADRC will host competition for the national title and the celebrated ANDRA Christmas trees for Group 1 categories. If I had the sound effect of cheering and clapping, I would put that in here right now. I should have done that before.
Yeah.
I'll cut it in afterwards.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I'm going to put in cheering and clapping right here. Yeah. This is absolute magnificent news, what we've been waiting for some time. So, Top Door Slammer and Top Fuel Motorcycle is back in Group 1 categories in ANDRA, everyone. So congratulations to ANDRA to get that over the line. The ADRC is here, and this is their calendar events. Check this out. Round 1, Hidden Valley, July 16 and 17. It's always a huge weekend up in Darwin.
Yep.
Huge weekend. Round 2, they drive down to Alice Springs, the Inland Dragway. It's a huge weekend there as well. That's July 24, 25. Then round 3, they head on over to Adelaide International Raceway. That's October 2 and 3. Round 4, Perth Motorplex. Cannot wait for that one, November 27. Round 5, Calder Park Raceway, February 5 and the 6th. Looking forward to that. Round 6, the Perth Motorplex. That's the Western Nationals. That's March 5 and 6. Looking forward to that. And there will be 2 additional Summit Racing Equipment Sportsman Series rounds at Banarabi Race Dragway. That's August 28th and 29th. That's a double-header weekend. And for those playing along at home, sorry, I should got to stop saying that. That's yours. For those of you that are interested, Banarabi is about a 5.5, 6 hour drive from Brisbane. So we have ANDRA drag racing in the Northern Territory, South Australia, Western Australia, Victoria, and Queensland. Congratulations. This is a long time overdue.
Yeah, it is.
And congratulate and all those West Australians anyone heading to Northern Territory. Really, they'll be looking forward to that. It's a huge weekend up there. Huge.
It's on my list to get up there one day.
It's magnificent.
But I'm torn now whether to go up there for drag racing or supercars.
Well, if you went for the supercars, you would have got a bit of drag racing. The Door Slammers headed up for that event, so it's but congratulations.
I want it to be Hidden Valley one day. I've been told it's pretty out there.
Look at the entry list for the Hidden Valley event. Look at that in Top Door Slammer. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cars entered in Top Door Slammer. John Zapier, Rob Taylor, Andrew Sutton, Kelvin Lyle. I can't read that.
Bronte Henning.
Bronte Henning. Daniel Gregorini and Matt Abel. Just in Top Door Slammer. It's going to be huge. So congratulations to everyone to get that across the line. Look, Top Sportsman, quite a few Top Sportsman cars going over as well.
Yeah.
Super Sedan, look at that. There's quite a few heading on over there as well. Marty Mirko, congratulations. We look forward. He's the reigning Australian champion from WA. He's still to come on the podcast. I'm holding him to that. He said he would. He said if he won the championship, he was coming on. So, Marty, when you get back from Northern Territory, if you're listening, you got to be here. So we're looking forward to catching up with him. So that's great news in ANDRA there. I'm really happy to hear that. While we're talking drag racing, Street Outlaws No Prep Australia, the Michael Gilbert, as we commonly refer to him, promoter from Power Cruise, he has put together a series for Street Outlaws No Prep Australia. So 50 of Australia's tougher door cars, they'll be hitting Sydney for a new No Prep drag racing series beginning in August. Don't know how that's going to go, actually, with the current climate. But anyway, that's another story.
Yes, I think the first date might be delayed because I thought it was 6 weeks. Anyway,
we'll talk about that. That's neither here nor there. That's not going to stop this show. The show will go ahead.
Involved,
it'll happen later.
It will happen. Rain, hail, shine.
Later on, it will still go ahead.
If you're inside watching Netflix or not, that's because we can't say the L word. That's when it will happen. You know what I mean?
It will happen. It just might be later. You might give these guys more time to get a better tune up in. So look, they're talking about 50 cars with the gatekeeper battling each. So the 50th car battling each event might get knocked out, and you can get in there by invite. Get yourself into the top 50. I'm looking forward to this. This will be great.
Yeah, sounds pretty good.
Yep. I mean, the spectator tickets are going to be around about $20. That's pretty reasonable.
That's not bad, hey?
This is at Sydney Motorsport Park as well. So, look, I mean, I take my hat off to these guys. And Gup, he's done some magnificent things over the years and will continue to do so, no doubt. Continue to do so.
There is a lot that happens at Sydney Motorsport Park. A lot. You don't realise how much happens there again, I've got friends over there that they're like, oh no, we can go down here on a Monday night and do this. We can go here on a Tuesday night and do that. And it's like, wow, it's open like 6 nights a week for different disciplines. But that's what a motorsport park is all about. That's right. Yep. Anyway. So 10 meet series. While we're talking motorsport parks, Barbagallo Raceway Talk Trophy couldn't go ahead. What they had when you say like throw the kitchen sink at someone, that's what they had thrown at them. They had COVID restrictions. Yeah, we were in a lockdown. They were only allowed one driver and one pit crew. Yeah.
They still went ahead. They
Yeah.
said, we're going to try and do this event. And then, I don't know, but Noah was off down at Colby Corner and started building an arc.
Yeah, I
And then
saw some photos from there from, a fellow podcaster. The pits were underwater. You could have...
Someone was building an arc somewhere.
You could have done canoe racing, like whitewater rapids through the pits.
There was no hope. There was just, like, they had everything thrown against them. They actually started racing that day. They had all the best intentions to get this event to happen, yet it just didn't happen because everything went against them. And, you know, you can only take your hat off to the volunteers and the people that put these events together to try and make it happen.
Yeah.
When it doesn't happen, when you have that sort of crap thrown at you...
there was a few people that were just like, really? What else can go... What else can go wrong? You know?
Sadly, the XL Cup didn't go ahead. That was that was the I guess kind of the. Would I be right in saying that was the feature event? Like,
yeah, it was.
Yeah,
and so actually, we've got to talk to a few of those people soon because the XL Cup is getting along. Some of those cars are getting pretty serious as far as you can build an XL. And there's some pretty interesting people coming up through the ranks, or there's some other people that used to run a street car or sedan, or that are now jumping back into an XL because it's level racing, and ideally it's supposed to be cheap racing, but it's not always. And it's fun. Yeah, like it's safe and it's fun, and
it's getting pretty serious, but as well,
it's getting pretty serious. It's getting a bit of door banging going on.
Nah, it's all good. It's all good fun. It's all good fun. Hey, look, we have got a bit of time here. Let's just quickly discuss auctions as well. It was auction. We had the news story come across my desk a few weeks ago. All records were set to be broken by this A9X Tirana. I loved that car. It's a beautiful car, but it did not reach the lofty heights that we have seen set by XYGTs. HOs. Not saying anything, just saying that the Tirana didn't get as much as what an XYGT did. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying. Just saying.
Yeah, I think we know what you're saying.
Yeah, just saying that A9X didn't. No, all jokes aside, this car got $775,000. By the time the purchaser paid the auction fee, or the buyer's fee, whatever you want to call it, $833,000. Worth every cent, I must say, for that car. That was a special build, that one.
Yeah.
Only had 475 kilometres on it. It was only one of 33 built. It was a GMP and A edition. Sorry, it's a lightweight shell. So worth every cent. And, to be frank with you, if that went for over $1 million, it was still worth every cent. And I say that tongue-in-cheek, about the Ford and Holden thing. That's just a bit of... I'm having a bit of a lend there. So, but, yeah, it didn't reach the lofty heights. I'm not sure. I'm not completely convinced it might have been publicised all that well, this Tirana.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, you reckon it's worth every penny. I'm sorry.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm still in the belief that some people are paying stupid money for cars. Why? Just why? That's just me, though.
Moving on.
Yeah, sorry.
Moving on. So there was I had a good chat with our good friend James at Shannon's today, and I just had not about this in particular, but they've got an auction. The spring auction's coming up, so spring is coming.
Yeah. For
those that live in the southern hemisphere, we're all looking forward to spring because we're in the middle of a winter that's. Like we said, we keep repeating, having to find ourselves building arcs every second day. But spring is coming, and so is the Shannon Spring Auction. And I stumbled across this one. Check this out. What do you reckon of that? It's a 1992 AutoZam AZ-1 Coupe. Really spun out looking car. That'll be in the Shannon Spring Auction.
Yep.
That's out there, that thing. That is...
It's a K car, I think it's referred to as in Japan.
Yeah.
And, it's a bit...
It's a Mazda DNA, I think, from memory.
Yeah, I was going to say it's a Mazda something from memory. And
yeah, it's got Mazda's fingerprints all over it.
It looks pretty cool. It's just, yeah.
And the other one that I stumbled across for the spring auction, I have fond memories of these cars. When I was a kid, my mum and dad, we went to Europe for a holiday once, and I was very lucky enough that they took me along with them.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mum and Dad. But I have fond memories of these Citroens back then. This one's a 73. I went in 87, but these things were still getting around back then. This is actually a coupe, this one. This is pretty rare. This is a 73 Citroen SM Coupe. Now, I believe Paul Blank that we had on a couple of weeks ago may have had one of these or something similar, I think, memory.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
His wasn't a coupe, I don't think, but...
No, I'm pretty sure it was a 4-door.
Now, my relation of ours actually had something very similar to that, and we went for a drive in it in Italy, and that is the epitome of...
Citroen.
Citroen, but French cars. When I see that, straight away I think French.
You have to jump on the Shannon's website and go to the auction section to do it justice. So have a look while you're sitting at work. If you get a chance, jump on the internet and just to appreciate. Is there such a term as the Frenchness of it?
Yeah,
hang on.
I just made it up.
Appreciate the French connection.
The French connection.
There you go.
It is it's not as if I'd go out and buy one, but it is when I look at that's the first thing. And I have fond memories of our trip to Europe back in 1987 and Italy and we went right through Europe, England, France, of course, and Germany. Well, it was West Germany back then. When we went, it was still West Germany.
Ooh,
it was the Berlin Wall was still up. So I actually saw the wall, and there was a different time, and Belgium and lots of other places as well. I have fond memories of Europe, and that car just brings back so many memories. As I said, one of our relations had something very similar to it. Well, Todd, I must say, thank you very much.
That's all right.
We've gotten through, I said to you, just the two of us tonight. And we've gotten through this episode quite well, I must say.
Oh, we all know I like a chat, so it's fine.
Yeah, we do. Well, that's the whole idea.
And I'm here to paint pictures. I've been told by a good friend of mine, I need to paint pictures more, not just babble on. So hey.
So paint pictures as sort of
put the listeners where we've been and what we're looking at.
Yeah. Okay.
There you go.
Okay. Well, thank you to that listener.
Hopefully, I've tried my best to
That was somewhat. If you have some thoughts on how we should be doing this, let us know.
Yeah, I mean, I again been sort of pumping the stuff I do in the background a fair bit lately on my Facebook page, and I've had a fair few feedbacks and made some new friends and all that. And it's good to know that we are picking up a few new listeners. And
I think
let us know, because we're here to entertain and have a chat, and you might learn something.
If this doesn't suit your what we do, if it doesn't suit what you don't like it, you want to hear something else, let us know. As long as it's motoring or motorsport related. Yeah. I mean, if you want us to talk about the footy, nah.
Yeah, the boys at the shed will do that for you.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. There's other people that do that stuff.
Yeah.
And if you want to talk about basketball, nah. Even though Trevor Gleeson's pulled the pin at the Wildcats.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
But yeah, there's other people that are averse in that. If you want to talk about the cricket, we're not in, or the soccer.
I get shed.
Yeah.
98.5, the shed. Done.
Yeah.
Shout out to the boys.
Or movies. If it's a car movie, we'll do it.
I'm about to say, our movie in general, I could help you out, but we'll make another podcast for that one night.
Oh, movies in general?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You might be alone on that one.
Yeah, I might be.
I don't watch.
Me talking to myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't watch too many movies.
About popcorn flavours. It'd be great. That'd be entertaining, wouldn't it? But it's we have fun doing it, and it's good to get out there and do stuff. And we do have a lot more special guests coming up.
We do. Yeah.
We've actually just taken this week to actually just catch up ourselves and have a bit of a chat. So
yeah,
if you want more special guests, they're coming. Like we're talking, we've probably got till Christmas planned. So
most certainly.
Yeah.
All right, Todd. Thanks for joining us.
No worries.
Stay safe out there. Drive safely. And to all of our listeners, drive safely as well. Those roads are going to be wet for a little while longer. And, take care. And if you're in another part of the world listening to us, cheerio over there, wherever you are, in the United States or the United Kingdom. Or we have listeners in Ireland as well, believe it or not. I look at the downloads, and we have downloads right across the planet. We seriously do.
Awesome.
Yeah, Canada. We have lots of listeners in Canada as well.
Yeah, actually, I had someone reach out to me from Canada the other day.
I love Canada. I've been to Canada before.
Yeah, me as well.
It's the most beautiful. It's the North America and Australia, really, in some ways.
That's how it was described to me when I was younger.
Yeah. A lot of the people of Canada are a lot like Australians. Really nice people. All right, on that note, we'll finish this podcast here. Stay tuned if you're on 88.5 FM. Captain Carlos is coming straight in after us. And as I said, stay safe out there. We'll see you soon. Take care, Todd.
See you, Nick.
Talk and Power, your motorsport and motoring radio show. Now on 88.5 FM, The Valley Comes Alive. And podcasting across iTunes and talkandpower.com.au.